Hey everyone, my name's Chris Cole, and I want to welcome you to this quick video introduction on VoFlow.io. So what is VoFlow.io? Well, it's the world's first complete operating business system for voiceover artists. I love this quote from Zig Ziglar. You are out of business if you don't have a prospect, which is so true. So what I want to do is we're going to get right into the software here of VoFlow, and I thought I'd take you behind the scenes and show you the exact journey a voiceover artist like yourself will go through in regards to creating those prospects for your voiceover business. So it all begins with the software here. And we're going to start in the sidebar there where the red square is there. And this is going to take us into the VO Marketing Center, which is this whole area right here. Now, inside the VO Marketing Center, you have these three tabs right there. And the first tab we're going to look at is the VoFlow Lead Pipeline. And the VoFlow Lead Pipeline is your visual representation of your entire pipeline to go from cold leads to brand new clients for your voiceover business. And it all starts with cold leads. Then we go to warm leads. Then we go to hot leads. Then they become a prospect. Then they become a voiceover client for you. And I'm going to show you exactly how VoFlow helps you do this better than anything out there. So it starts with what we call our Smart Lead Search. And when you click on this tab, you're going to go into the VoFlow Smart Lead Search section. Now there's 3 steps to generating a lead, and it's very simple with VoFlow. Step 1 is you're going to do your smart search, and I'm actually going to do this and show you how this works. Step 2 is we're going to find the emails for these leads. Then step 3 is we're going to verify the actual email addresses, and once they're verified and we know they're good, then we're going to add that lead to our CRM inside VoFlow. Now, the way we can search for these leads is we can search by company down there. We can search by people, like video production directors. We can search by email address as well. And how we do that is this area right there on the screen. We're just going to type in what we want. So in this example, I'm typing in video production Chicago, and you can see it pulled up 1,317 results. Now, what these are actual leads. These are actual leads. These are companies, video production companies in Chicago that hire voiceover talent. And we have what we call our VoFlow score. You'll see there, it's the top one says 90, excellent, 85, excellent, 80% excellent. And we've built in an algorithm to go and analyze these companies on your behalf so you don't have to do the research to see how likely they are to hire voiceover talent. So once you have basically the leads right here, now it's a matter of finding out which one you might be a good fit for. In this example, let's look at Strange Loop Studios. So I'm just going to click on that button there, which is then going to open up their website on the right side of my screen there inside of VoFlow. And when I go to their website, what I'm looking for is something very specific. I'm looking to see if they do any kind of voiceover work. And I'm looking for any kind of videos with voiceover in it. And what I see right here is one called Rocket Mortgage, Why Are We Here? And I'm going to make a special note of that because I'm going to want to copy the title of that video, Rocket Mortgage, Why Are We Here? Question mark. That's going to be key, and I'll explain why in just a second, but you want to copy that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to click on this button that says Find Emails. So Strange Loop Studios, in this example, looks like a good prospect for me. Let's go see if we can get some information. We're going to click that button, and what's going to happen is VoFlow is going to go out there. It's going to download the leads in this case, or contacts in this case, for this particular company. It found 2 email addresses, Dave and info. And we can see that right over here, I'm going to contact Dave, and I'm going to press the little verify text right there. And what that's going to do is that's going to tell VoFlow to actually go out and verify the email address in real time to make sure it's good. And if it comes back like you see on the screen, valid 100%, well, that's a good email address. So the chances of me landing in the inbox are really good, because I do not want to be emailing somebody if the email address is bad. That's going to damage my sender reputation. We don't want to do that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this Add to CRM button right there. And when I click on that, this window is going to pop up just like that on your screen. Now, you remember we just looked at the Rocket Mortgage Why Are We Here video, and I said you're going to want to copy that. And that you're going to put inside what I call the connection point. Now, this is something we've created with VoFlow. This is the connection point right here. This is what's going to determine when somebody reads your email if you're legit or not. Because most cold emailers just blast and send emails. Well, not here at VoFlow. We do this one at a time. But this is where the increase in conversion happens, because this instantly signals to the reader that you went to their website, you looked up their portfolio, and you found a video that you happen to like, and that, you can help in their company with the voiceover services. So you're going to paste that title of the video in there. And most of all production companies have their portfolio of work, and you're just going to look for some voiceover work that you do to relate. And then you're going to click Save Lead right there. And then when you do that, here's what happens. This little drop-down area will appear. And notice the screen hasn't changed. Everything just happens without clicking around. It just happens naturally. So what this is this is a message asking you or reminding you or suggesting to you to connect with Dave on LinkedIn and send a connection request. And you can do that by clicking on this button right there, and that's going to open up Dave's LinkedIn. Now, in this example, there was only 2 contacts, Dave and info. So a small company like this will use the company LinkedIn for their main LinkedIn profile. But there are some companies I've seen in my testing where there might be 10 email addresses, and then each person has their own personalized LinkedIn account, which VoFlow will actually go and find that person's personal LinkedIn. So this way, if you're sending them an email, even though they're a big company, you're sending and making the connection request to their personal LinkedIn. So it'll open up their personal LinkedIn. You would then go and manually click connection request, just like that. And then what you want to do is, if you want to send a connection request to the actual company, you would click that button there at the top that says Connect on LinkedIn. And again, this one on the right would be for their personal use. Now, once that happens, you'll see this blue button here, and it basically says Send Email. And you click on that email, and what happens then is Dave is put into your VoFlow CRM part of the system, and it opens up this area to send Dave an email. Now, let's say we want to send Dave an email. We just added Dave. He's a cold lead. He's in the system. We want to send him an email. There's the email address. The VoFlow is ready to send it. What you want to do now is click this little button here at the top that says AI Draft. And when you click that, this window will appear just like this. So now you want to put, what is the purpose that you're going to write? What type of email would you like to write for Dave in this example? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in first email, use connection point. So I'm telling the system, hey, this is the first email I'm sending to Dave, and I want to use the connection point. So you'll type that in that field just like this, and then you'll hit generate draft like that. And what's going to happen is within a few seconds, VoFlow is going to write all of the copy for you and put it in the email just like that. You'll see there's the subject line. Here's the message body right here. And then let's preview this and see what it looks like. You'll click that preview button, and now we can see what this looks like. So look at the subject line. Loved your work on Rocket Mortgage. Why are we here? And so instantly, the minute this person, Dave, receives this email, he knows this is about him and his work. Rocket Mortgage, why are we here, right? So let's look at the message. Hi, Dave. I came across Strange Loop Studios, which is his company, and your impactful piece, Rocket Mortgage, why are we here? It really showcases your creative vision. As a voiceover artist, I believe I could add a unique touch to future projects at Strange Loop Studios. Would you be open to discussing how we might collaborate on upcoming content? Now, of course, this is an AI-generated message. You can modify and edit this however you want, but not bad for, just clicking a button, and within 30 seconds, VoFlow wrote this for you. So now if you wanted to send Dave this email, you'd click send email just like that. And of course, let's say, this message was pretty good and I might want to use it for other people beside Dave. So what if I could save this AI-generated message as a template and use it in the future for other people? Well, you can with VoFlow. So how that works is very simple. When the email is in the body, like you see on the screen, all you do is click this button that says Save to Templates. And when you click that button, what's going to happen is you're going to get a little toast message there at the bottom right that says, this is now saved to your templates. So you can reuse it. Now, let's say we're going to go into our contacts here, right there, and we're going to go into Chris Cole because I don't want to send Dave an email in this video tutorial, so we're going to use myself as a fictitious lead. But now we're going to go into Chris's contact record right here, and we're going to click Send Email. We'll click Send Email. It opens up the body. We're then going to click this little template icon here on the email editor, and when you click that, I zoomed in for you, you'll see this little drop down will appear, and if you notice, right here it says AI generated folder. Well, that happened when we copied and saved that template. And there you go. The AI draft, loved your work on Connection Point email is now saved for future use, which is pretty cool. So now I can put this same template, I can send it to Chris, and all I got to do is press the send email button, and now that email is sent off to Chris. And the beauty with VoFlow is everything ties to the contact record. So now the email for Chris is in his history inside of his contact record. So that's pretty cool. So now if we look inside of Chris's Gmail account, we can see he received the email. It says, love your work on XYZ video right there, which is pretty cool. So that's in the subject line. And then we can see the personalization. I came across ABC Company and again, XYZ video and so forth. But here's where the magic happens with VoFlow. VoFlow creates your signature for you automatically. And inside of this signature, VoFlow also gives you a website as well, a VoiceOver website as well, and it puts your link in there. And the beautiful thing about that link is that there's a custom tracking code that is created from VoFlow, even though this is sent from your Gmail account inside of VoFlow. And when a person clicks on that, they'll then go to your site, which I'll show you in just a second. So now we see Chris is a cold lead right there. Now, if Chris clicks the link from your signature, like I just showed in just a second, Chris is going to go to your VoFlow website. This is an example of the default website you get with VoFlow. It's already built for you. All you have to do is go in there and change your name here to your name and so forth. Everything's already built in and designed, and you can change the graphics, you can add videos, audios, all that fun stuff. You can do everything, completely customize this however you want. And we show you exactly how to do that. But here's what I want to point out in this video, and that is when Chris clicked on the link from your signature and went to your VoFlow portfolio page, your website page, we're tracking that activity. And you can see in the square box there at the top, this is the contact ID. So now VoFlow knows where Chris is at in your system. And when we go back and we look at your visual pipeline, you can see Chris is now a warm lead. Chris was a cold lead, and if you'll notice on the box to the left, Chris is not in the cold lead section anymore. He's in the warm lead section because he received the email, he clicked on the link to go check out your website, and so now he's a warm lead. Now, if we actually click on Chris's name in the warm lead column, what happens is this panel drops down right here. And I want to introduce you to something we call the VoFlow Marketing Assistant. And let me zoom in for you here. In this example, Chris is a warm lead. And the VoFlow Marketing Assistant gives us a little message, and it guides you on what to do next. So let's read what it says. They visited your portfolio, your VoFlow website. Send a follow-up email to mention you noticed their interest. Ask if they have any upcoming projects. Now, this is an example, okay? So what you do now is there's a big blue button here that says send email, and you click that button, pretty simple, right? And what that's going to do is, again, that's going to open Chris's account, his contact record. It's going to automatically write the email for you just like that. And then you can preview the email and let's see what it says. So we know Chris is a warm lead. Look at the subject. Excited to collaborate on your next project. Hi, Chris. I notice your recent interest in my portfolio. Thank you for taking the time to explore my work. I'd love to hear more about any upcoming projects at ABC Company where my voiceover services could add value. Looking forward to your thoughts. Best, Chris. And then, of course, you can send an email. Now, it doesn't have to be this message. You don't have to let them know that you're tracking them on your website if you don't want to. This could be anything you want, okay? I'm just showing you the power of what can happen here. All right, so now Chris is a warm lead because he went to your site and he's on your site looking at it. But how do we get Chris to become a hot lead? Well, as Chris is scrolling on your site, you might have videos and you might have audio demos and video demos and all that good stuff. Well, in this example, let's say Chris actually played one of your audios, and you can see in the screenshot, I actually played a little bit of an audio demo 1, where the red box is there. I actually played that video. Well, VoFlow knows this. It doesn't just know that it's on your site, it knows that you played the video. So now what's cool is when we go back into our pipeline, we can see that Chris, because he took an action based on his behavior, he then moved and became a hot lead. And if we click on Chris's name in the hot lead column, guess what happens? The VoFlow Marketing Assistant pops up again. And now let's see what the VoFlow Marketing Assistant says. It says, they listen to your audio demo 1. They're actively interested. Reach out now with availability and rates. Well, just hit the blue button, send email, and it's going to automatically open up the contact record for Chris, and it's automatically going to write the email for you within a few seconds. And then we can preview this, and let's see what this one says. Subject, excited to collaborate with ABC Company. Hi, Chris. I noticed you listened to my audio demo 1, and by the way, when you add your audios to your My VoFlow website, you name your audios whatever you want. So that's going to show up right there. I'm thrilled to hear you're interested. I'd love to discuss how I can bring my voiceover skills to life for ABC Company. Could you share your ability for a quick chat about rates and project ideas? Looking forward to connecting. Best, Chris. And then, of course, we can just send this email to Chris right there. Now, what's critical here is the timing, right? So imagine somebody's on your site. They're actually taking action. They're listening to your stuff, and you just happen to show up in the inbox at the right time. How cool is that, right? It's all about seizing the opportunity and maximizing it. So now, if we go into the inbox inside of VoFlow, which is your Gmail account or your Office 360 account inside VoFlow, we can see that Chris now responded to our emails. Hi, Chris, you might be a good fit for an upcoming project we're doing. What are your rates? So Chris is asking for the rates. But I want to show you what else happened here. Now that Chris responded, you can see up at the top there, he's now a prospect because now he's reaching out to us. So now we've just taken somebody from a cold lead to a warm lead to a hot lead. They've actually taken themselves through their behavior, and now they're a prospect because they're actually reaching out to us. So VoFlow is monitoring your inbox, and it knows what leads are replying back to you, so forth. So now we can see if we go back to our VoFlow lead pipeline, Chris is now a prospect. So now let's reply to Chris. So to reply to Chris, we're simply going to hit the reply button in the inbox there. And then we're going to write Chris a message. We're going to say, hi, Chris, thanks for getting back with me. When you have a moment, send over the script for the project. I'll be happy to give you a quote and a time frame. Talk soon. And then you just hit send reply. Now, let's say Chris responded and he said, okay, great, the script is attached. Now, some people, if you're brand new and you're like, I'm not sure how much to charge people, you might want to do per word, for example. And if you go into our school group, there's hundreds of voiceover professionals that will give you examples on how to do billing and all that kind of stuff. But in this case, we're going to keep it simple. Chris replied back to us, and the script is attached. So now he's sending us a script. He wants a quote. So what we'll do is we'll just download the script in this example. I got a sample script right there, and you can just copy that, go into VoFlow, and go into our script word counter, and then you can simply paste the script right there, and it will give you the word count correctly. And in this example, it's 246 for the word count right there. You can see the script analysis will give you an average idea of reading level, recording time, speaking time, and then you can put how much you charge per word. In this example, this particular sample project would be $123. That's what we would charge Chris. So if we scroll down, we also have the link to the GVAA rate guide. So based on usage, if we need to find that information out, we can click that button, open up the PDF, and get all that information. So that's pretty cool. So now what we can do is we can give Chris our quote. Let's say Chris accepts and says, hey, sounds good, let's do it. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to start a new job for Chris because he's agreed to the price and we're ready to go. So in the email, from the email, you can do this from the contact record, but from the email where it says new job, we're just going to click the new job button right there at the top, and this window will appear. And what we're going to do is we're going to give the project a name. I'm going to call it Movie Promo for this example. Chris is a direct client because we use the Smart Lead Search to find him inside of VoFlow. And then the session duration, this job, for example, will take about 20 minutes. And then I'm going to add a line item right here, and I'm going to call it Service Type Voiceover, Description, 120-second promo, Quantity 1, and I'm going to charge a rate of $130. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little invoice number there, 102. And then I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to click on Log New Job. Now, there's some other fields there if you wanted to put the requirements in there. You could, if you had usage terms, you can put the usage terms in there. If you had a usage reminder date, so let's say, for example, that you want people to pay you every year for this work for your residuals, you can put a usage reminder in there for a date, and VoFlow will actually remind you a year later to contact this person to collect your funds. Very cool stuff. But in this example, I left that blank. Let's just click Log New Job. And when I do that, you'll notice now we're in the job section of VoFlow. And we can see from our job pipeline, we have a scheduled job right now. And we can also see that right here where it says scheduled number 1. And then here are our scheduled jobs right there. And we can see all the information. We can see Chris's name, which, by the way, you could click on that right there and go right into his record and get more information if you wanted to. And then right here, we have this button that says Job Complete Invoice Client. So we've started a job. And now let's say we've done the voiceover work itself and we're ready to invoice the client. Now, let me take a quick pause here. Some of you have your own invoicing system like QuickBooks or FreshBooks or something like that. And you have your way of collecting money, which is great. So the way I designed VoFlow is that there's two options. One, you can integrate VoFlow with your Stripe account, and then you can connect it to where Stripe will send the invoice for VoFlow. And when somebody pays with their credit card into your Stripe account, it will then update automatically inside of VoFlow for you. But if you have your own invoicing system and you don't want to deviate from what you're already doing, you can manually mark jobs as paid and still use VoFlow to track all of your activity. So with that caveat, now let's say we're back to the training here. We're done doing the voiceover job. It was 20 minutes. We're done. We're ready to invoice the client. I'm going to press that button, and when you do, at the top of the page, we get this little message right here that says, mark this job as completed and invoice $130. Invoice sent manually outside of VoFlow. Again, if you have your own invoicing system, you would do that outside of VoFlow, and then all you're going to do is hit this OK button, just like that. And when you do that, now what's happened is you've moved this person automatically to the invoice jobs section of the job pipeline. And again, you can see that right there in the toolbar right there for invoiced. And you'll notice now the progress bar is almost 80% done. The only thing we need to do is we need to get paid, right? So we've invoiced the client, we just need to get paid. Now let's look at a couple other things. Now, if we go into our VO lead pipeline, because we've invoiced Chris, he's now a client. So what you've just seen over the past few minutes is somebody go from a cold lead, which we generated the cold lead from the smart lead search inside of VoFlow, and now they're a client, and we've invoiced them and we've done the work. And all of this has taken place within VoFlow. No other third-party software or anything. Everything has been integrated into VoFlow in one simple solution. Now, if we click on Chris's name right there in the client column, we have our trusty VoFlow marketing assistant. Let's look at what our VoFlow marketing assistant says. Great work closing this client. After the project, ask for a testimonial and referrals. Well, just press the blue button again. It'll go into Chris's record and it'll write the subject and the body automatically. And now let's preview this message and see what it looks like here. So the subject line, thank you and a quick favor. Hi, Chris. I wanted to take a moment to thank you for the opportunity to work with ABC Company. It's been a pleasure collaborating with you, and I'm excited about the final results. Once the project wraps up, I'd love to ask for a testimonial if you're happy with the outcome. Additionally, if you know anyone who might benefit similar voiceover services, referrals would be greatly appreciated. Looking forward to your thoughts. Best, Chris. Okay, then you send that to the client to get a possible testimonial and a referral right there. And again, all of this magic happens inside of VoFlow within a few seconds. And when you're looking at the contact record right here, you'll see an account summary section for this contact right here. And if we zoom in, we can see that we've invoiced Chris $130. And we also keep track of, like I said, all of the emails for Chris, all of our correspondence in this example are there. So if you ever need to go back and you need to say, well, Chris sent me a script a couple months ago that I did. I need to access that script again. Well, it's in there. It's in the email tab. We can also reference to the jobs we've done with Chris because VoFlow is keeping track of all the jobs. And VoFlow is also keeping track of all the invoices here. And in this example, we can see we have our invoice that's unpaid. Now, did you create an invoice? Well, kind of and not kind of. And here's what I mean by that. Notice how you didn't have to go back and refill in any forms, because it's like Legos. You build as you go, basically. So as you were creating the job form, you were actually building the invoice at the same time. That's the way I designed this. Now, in this example, we're gonna dip into this invoice section here real quickly, and I want to show you what these little icons mean. So right here, you'll see the little eye icon, and when you click that, it will give you a preview of the invoice right there. And of course, if you need to mark it as paid, you can click the blue button, mark it as paid, and I'll show you what this looks like when you do mark it as paid. The next little icon, which is really cool, this is the PDF invoice. VoFlow will create the PDF invoice for you as well. And when you click on this, in this example, I have Bill Deweese's logo, but that'll be your logo. VoFlow will pull that in from your contact record, which will show you exactly how to set all that stuff up. And then if we need to edit this particular invoice, you can click that icon, and that will allow you to go back into the job or the invoice and edit it. So that's pretty cool. So again, everything lives for the contact inside of the contact record right there. Now let's go to the main dashboard and let's see what's happened automatically behind the scenes. So we can see in our invoice summary, we've invoiced $130 and we have $130 pending for the invoice there. So we're always on our main dashboard, we always kind of know what's going on. Who owes us money, how much money has come in, and all that good stuff. So let's go back to the invoice, the previewing of the invoice. And I told you I would show you what happens when you mark the invoice as paid. So this is perfect if you're using your own invoicing system outside of VoFlow and you receive the funds. You just come into VoFlow, look up the contact record, click up their invoice and hit this marked as paid. If you're using the Stripe integration with VoFlow, this happens automatically. Stripe talks to VoFlow and says, John Smith is now paid with their credit card. Mark this as paid, happens automatically. But when you click mark as paid manually, what ends up happening is you get this green paid badge there at the top. You also get the paid date right there. And then it will show paid amount 130, amount due 0. Gives you a nice little message right there that the payment was received. And now if you see this on the invoice section, now this is turned green. And now if we go into the account summary area, you can see right there the total invoice 130, amount paid is now 130, the balance due is now 0. Average job value in this example is 130, and the average hourly value will calculate once we have more data and more jobs from this particular client. The reason that's important is because the more data you put into VoFlow, the smarter it's going to work for you, because it's going to analyze all of this for you. And it's going to be able to tell you who are the clients you make the most revenue from, and where to spend your time. And maybe you might want to reach out to them because they're more likely to give you some more work than other clients and so forth. So lots of cool stuff with VoFlow. Now, if you go back to your main dashboard, you can see that the paid is now showing 130 because this particular client is now paid. And the pending is now 0 right there. And right here, it will show you your job status. It will show you all of your paid jobs and all of that stuff. You can click on that and dip into that if you need to see it at any time, which is so cool. Now, let's talk about writing emails in your voice, tone, and style. Because really, this only matters if the emails can sound like you. You're unique. You have your unique style, your own voice, your own way of writing. And so the cool thing is you can train VoFlow to basically be your marketing assistant and write like you. That's why we created the VoFlow email writer. And right here, this will give you instructions on how the VoFlow email writer works, but I'm going to give you a quick demonstration here. So if you click on this, it says create your first profile. It will open up this window right here. And the first thing you'll do is you'll click and you'll give it a profile name, and then you'll select the tone you want in your emails. You'll then select the style you want in your emails, and then you can give it custom instructions like, always mention my voiceover experience in the emails. Weave it in there as social proof. You can tell it to do that if you want. Now, the big key is, how do you train it to actually write like you, okay? Well, very simple. What you're going to do is you're going to paste in 3 emails into VoFlow so it can analyze your writing and know to write the emails like you. And what I recommend here is you copy the emails from your email client, you paste that text into a notepad or a text document, then you copy it and paste it into VoFlow here. So you paste it in that bottom box there, and then to add another one, you click this little add button over there, and that'll add another field so you can add another email. And then when you're ready, click on create profile, and you're all set and ready to go. So that's how easy it is to generate leads, turn them into clients, and run your voiceover business with ease. So to get started with VoFlow today, let me show you. You just go to school.com/VoFlow. You can sign up for our, it's free to sign up. You'll get access to our free group. And once you're in the group, what you want to do is you want to go over here on the right column, right side of the column there, where it says VoFlow.io upgrade to app here. You want to click on that. And when you click on that, what's going to happen is this window is going to open up, and you're going to have the option, 2 options, premium and VIP. Just pick the one that you like and click the join premium or join VIP. Both are the same, except VIP, you're prepaying for the year. And when you do that, you're actually only paying for 11 months, and we're giving you 12 months. So you get an extra month when you prepay for the year. So just click join premium or join VIP. All right, this is Chris, and I'll look forward to seeing you inside VoFlow.